Episode 1454 of the Multifamily Collective. Today I wanted to talk about Sam Zell. I worked for Equity Residential several years ago. I won't claim to have known him in any way, shape, or form. I just happened to work for a company that he had created or assisted in creating. Uh, but I did have the privilege of hearing him speak one time at one of our regional manager conferences, and I believe it was in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's right. Although we had a fair number of leadership conferences in California, and it could have been there. So anyway, doesn't matter. The point to that is this: I recall one of the remarks that he made. And he further put, or he rather later put this in a book. I think it's titled "Am I Being Too Subtle?" Um, he said from the stage that he traded in conformity, I believe, for transparency. I think that's the way it goes. Traded in conformity for transparency. And anybody who has ever seen Sam Zell speak, whether it be in person and or on broadcasts or YouTube videos, it doesn't matter. Wherever you've heard him or if you've read his books, he pretty much says what's on his mind, and it is completely full of transparency as it relates to the way that he views the world, certainly. But it is a trait to be admired in that you never, with a person like that, with a person like Sam Zell, you never question where he stands, and you never question where you stand with him. That's my imagination, obviously, because I've never met him or had any interactions with him. I did stand in a hallway once, and I was quite struck by. Now I'm 6'8", but the contrast between my height and his height was pretty drastic. That has nothing to do with anything, but he lived out loud. Let's put it that way. He lived out loud. You have no question about what he thinks or how he thinks about the world, and that, in my head, has served him quite well over the years. I'm sure it has not served him well over the years, but at the end of the day, net, it has certainly served him to the positive. So my encouragement to you today in this short message on a Monday, getting a week started, um, is to just trade in conformity for transparency where it makes sense for you. It's a big, bold way to live. It definitely has risk, upside and downside risk. But to the extent that you can find your voice and you can live that voice out loud in the world, despite the criticisms that you might take, despite the arrows that will be potentially fired your way, do that for yourself. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.